Okay, and we are live. All right. 42 days to go until the election. And, and more controversy about changing all the damn election laws and proceedings. So, gonna be confusion. Morning. All right, so let's see what we got. Morning. So today, I got some work done. I may have to, if I just cut this live broadcast short, that's because this company just notifies me the day before they're coming. I don't know when. Uh, and if I hear a knock at the door, I got to go talk to these assholes because they screwed up the work they did the last time they were here. So I may just cut this short and abruptly. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize it until in the afternoon when they sent me a text message. Oh, we scheduled to visit your house, and I want to go out there and talk to these guys. Ready for the hurricane. Yeah, well, we had some thunderstorms and some rain already. I got to go to the damn dentist later today, so that ain't going to be a barrel of laughs. But he made that appointment late. Usually I make them in the morning around this time. But who do you think will win? I have no idea. We got to see if Trump lives till election day, number one. Number two, the way that they're changing, all these states are changing different things in the last minute, months before the election. It's going to just be chaotic no matter what. It's really going to be bad. They shouldn't be doing this. They had 4 years to make up their minds and do this crap. But anyway, on another note, because really nothing much changes. This, that, the other thing, it's all nonsense. Really doesn't make a difference one way or the other. But for those of you that have been asking in terms of mill surplus, I've been seeing where Royal Tiger's got another shipment. A lot of people ask me about that. And a lot of their stuff's up there. And there are different things coming in, but I don't really know if they're worth it. I don't think the value is there. Let's see. The Constitution is no longer fit for purpose. The elections need to be out of the hands of the state and handled at a national level. That ain't the way things are run here in this country. Okay? Really. Can't go around saying that. Okay, because that's when elections are handled at the national level. Okay, that's not a good thing. Do you like Royal Tiger? No, because their business practice. What they do, especially with the real rare guns, like I proved with those Italian things, they have 1 out of 10 that is good. Okay, and they price it for like $1,200. Then when somebody buys the one nice example, they drop the price of the other guns, which are not nice, to like $800, and they're still overcharging you for what it is. And if you watch Readiness Review, that whole monkey show with that semi-automatic French rifle where they refurbed them, refinished them, put brand new stocks on them and everything. The guns are basically somewhat shot out, and that thing went full auto on him, and that, and really, it just ain't. None of it's worth the money. It's not good. Okay, those things are not there. Of course, something like that I seen at a gun show that was in really nice shape, because I remember back when they came in, they were like $1,200 they wanted for it. It used to be $350 gun. Then it went up to $700. I looked at one years ago for seven, and now they're well over 1,000. So henceforth, the pricing in that crap gets crazy. Sure you can, and I do. Yeah, that's true. If they were selling them at what they should be, because shot out Carcanos ain't worth more. The B grade, but the B grade's got cracked stocks and parts missing. So for whatever they're selling them, $200 or something, the B grades ain't that good to begin with. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good in the Ukraine. And then again, you don't know what's really going on there. Okay, you have some people saying, "Hey, the Ukrainians with our support are beating the Russians." When I was in the service, they were the people that we were screwing around with the most. There wasn't a war, but we were always on edge with them whenever the hell we were out at sea and that. They're not people, I mean, they like to say, oh, well, their equipment ain't as good as ours. Their military's not as organized as ours and all this other stuff. Russia's a big country, and the people in their military ain't going to turn and run, okay, or surrender very easily. Like, this BS in the Gulf Wars, where half of them guys are dragged off the street, didn't even have uniforms, and they put them out in the front lines. Okay, that's not the same thing. They do have a professional military, and they do have a huge supply of manpower. Okay, so yeah. So a lot of that stuff in the Ukraine, and politically also what we're doing there, trying to take that country over, it's not going to work. I don't know how the hell that's going to turn out, but I think they're making these advances and they're making these strikes to put pressure before everything is before the election. Okay, all over. Okay, it's not good. Yeah, I went to Bass Pro and looked at some Spanish rifles that they had out there, and every single one of them had a crap bore. I mean, they had a whole rack full of them. But again, these things were in back. You couldn't shoot them. I mean, they were wall hangers, and they wanted like close to $400 for them. That's why. All right, Mill Surplus Duo. Thanks for showing up. Yeah. Well, like I said, I do them at 9. Today might be an inconvenience if some workers come to the house. I'm going to have to just stop, go out there and deal with them. Uh, and like I said, I believe looking at my calendar, at least the rest of this month, probably pretty much all the way through, I don't see anything coming up or doctor's appointments. I can keep up with it. Now, we're starting to get people showing up uh, every day, so it's kind of worth it. But thanks for joining. There we go. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, that's kind of obvious, but that is not what the popular media says. Actually, there's other individuals. One I like, the guy had a map, and he goes, I am a veteran of the U.S. Army, and he's talking about troop movements and stuff, kind of World War II like. But unfortunately, there are weapon systems out there that all that shit's meaningless. They zero in on a building and then they whack them with a missile, and that's the end of that. So that's another thing people forget. But yeah, surplus coming in. I don't know. And another thing I found, I don't know, any of you guys ever go to Atlantic Firearms? Uh, they're out there on the web. They have like all the AK variants, FN variants, and all this modern guns, and they do get some surplus handguns in. But I've noticed they started selling. It looks like they buy the stuff from Royal Tiger because they have M95s, which they call B grade, and they were selling some of those French guns that were overhauled. And I guess Royal Tiger had a bunch of M1 Garands redone um, with new barrels. And they're also selling them there also as a, sorry about that, allergies, as refurbed or whatever. I don't know. And it looks like they're getting this from Royal Tiger. I know they did. I think someone else got a bunch of guns from Royal Tiger that they were, uh, you know, because now they got a new shipment. Whatever they couldn't sell, they dumped them or sell them to somebody else, and now they're selling them on their uh, website. Do I think the Ukraine will fall? It's not so much will the Ukraine fall, it's who is the corrupt individual running it. And you have to remember, when I was in the Ukraine, at least on the eastern side, not so much maybe in the west, I didn't go to the west to the border of Poland. They're Russian, okay? Everything, the street signs, Poltava, the street signs were in Russian. When I had to go to the office to validate my visa and tell them that I arrived in the country, all the forms were in Russian. The people, the officials, the cops, all spoke Russian. Okay, I wasn't speaking Ukrainian to them when they were asking me questions. I had to answer in Russian. So, for it to fall, it's not so much falling, it's who the hell is running the government. And all these wonderful hot spots where you got the government switching sides or doing this, doing that, just like Vietnam, everything else. When the war ends, it'll all go back to normal, I guess, or whatever you call normal over there. No, I don't remember the name of that city. I was in Kiev. I went to Cherkasy. I didn't go to Poltava. Uh, I was down Odessa, Sevastopol. I seen where the Black Sea Fleet was. I was down on the Crimean, in that, and some other places that historically were famous, but didn't really span the country that much. Interesting. War with China. See, that's another fictitious, weird way of looking at it. They hold most of our debt, and they're still sending. You ever been to a Walmart or a Harbor Freight? Okay, they're still sending boatloads and tons of products and goods to our country. I really don't see we're getting into an open war with them. Would be bad, or it wouldn't be good. Okay, and I don't see it. And somebody did a study. What they're doing is they're building up their navy, and they're getting ready. They want Taiwan back. And the big joke about Taiwan is when they kind of went over there and talked to the people, a large majority of the people in Taiwan go to the mainland on a ferry every day and work in China. And again, political rift. They got some kind of prime minister or something that part time's running a heavy metal band, and he wants Taiwan to be independent. But they brought one of the old timers that run a tong or gang, and he said that it would be much better off if we were reunited with mainland China, because he goes, really ain't going to change much one way or the other. And that's another country that's divided. Half the people work and want, claim they're Chinese, and seems these younger people influenced by the West and the bullshit don't want to go with it, which, that's fine. But not when you're going to start an international war, So I doubt that very much. Um, it makes no sense. Okay. And we act like they're going to send, the whole weight of China into Taiwan. But in reality, which they don't want you to know, is not everybody in Taiwan. There's a vast majority of people that reunification, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I just think the problem is any of the businesses in there, wealthy people who control the businesses in Taiwan are not going to get cut a deal they want, and they're going to lose a shitload of money. That's about it. Okay. And that's why. But yes, they are building up and claiming more. They're doing, these islands and stuff out there. It ain't World War II. Like I said again, missiles. Yeah, no war with China. Yeah, who knows? In the Middle East, I don't know what the hell they're doing there. Building that oil platform, and that was weird. Things there, like I said before, they ain't gonna give one way or the other. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, Royal Tiger. So like I said, even though the stuff is in bad shape, their prices are a tad bit too high. I mean, they are like Gun Geek said, they're like $95 guns. Back in the day, he used to buy them. But the blind sniper, he did the thing the best. He bought some sort of gun from Royal Tiger. I don't know if it was a Vetterli or something. And he went and cleaned the bore out, and he took a bullet. He had the bolt out, and he just dropped the bullet right through the barrel, and it fell on the ground. I thought it was hilarious. But he'll still buy them. I know Readiness Review is constantly buying something there. I mean, I give the guy credit that he spends his money and takes the risk. He does make a ton of shorts where he goes to gun shows and looks at the price and comments on what he sees. And I believe he lives in Georgia somewhere. In Georgia, they have a lot of gun shows. North Carolina used to, where I just stopped going to them because A lot of the promoters changed a lot of things over the years. It's like the gun show in Hickory. It's a drive, but I used to go to it to be exposed to other people or dealers. Greensboro was good till the city decided to cancel the gun show there. They can't have any gun shows in the city limits of Greensboro. Okay. And there's another small promoter. He runs these little rinky dink gun shows where you like go into a closet, or he rents a lot of, he must have been in the National Guard at one time because uh, he'll rent these things from the guard, and it's usually a basketball court. So he lays these tables out in a basketball court in a gymnasium, which is kind of small, and he doesn't charge you much, but a lot of the dealers there are overpriced. There's one or two that shows up. They had some reasonable prices on, brand new commercial guns. He has quite a few there. So I can't say it's all bad. And every now and then you get a pawn shop in there where they got a lot of older pistols you don't see a lot. And you get some unusual guns will show up, like little 32 autos and that. But again, at the price tag, what they want for them, but the days of having them, at one time they did, but with prices high and you travel there and you're spending $10 to get in, the one place, if you give them the $10, they stamp your hand and they say you can come back tomorrow, get you in both days. But if you wander around for 20 minutes and there ain't nothing in there to interest you, there really ain't a reason to come back the second day. Okay, the gun's designed to shoot a 268 bullet. And you're talking about old weapons that have been around since before 1900 that have some wear. A 264 is, and people have asked me this. No, you don't fire it in the gun. If you have a gun that was like never fired, okay, and cut on the low end of the tolerance, a 264 bullet may have, and again, nobody's showing me a target to what they consider good accuracy. Is firing 5 rounds and keeping them on a 12 by 12 sheet of paper considered good accuracy? Okay. Use a 268 bullet, and I use a 270 diameter cast bullet in the Carcanos. Let me see. I'll look up something here. Yeah, always use the bigger bullet. And like I said, Royal Tiger's got some more guns. I bought a few when they first come out. I did buy a few of those M38s or the 7.35 caliber guns. And even though they were halfway decent, they, the bores on them are bad. Because like I told you, them guns were never stored. Never stored in any type of controlled environment. It was all junk. And that's why they rusted like that. Okay. And I mean, it's not a matter of they had a little bit of moisture in there and you can can get to rust out fairly easily. This stuff is corrosion that I've never seen. It must be what happens when you don't put any type of lubricant or something on a gun and just leave it outdoors in a barn. I mean, because that rust, it does not come out. Uh, it'll break, a cleaning rod if it's that bad. I mean, that's uh, yeah, because there were a batch you still run across the 41s. There probably were batches of them that came in. For some odd reason, I believe the long rifles were what came in as surplus. And obviously, from the cache of little carbines that we found, the Italians must have kept all the damn short rifles in storage. So a lot of the stuff that popped up surplus, that's where all your long rifles and your M41s were. And that's why when the Italians dumped them, they all had carbines. But if there were any long rifles in there were probably so few they never made it to where they would be posted on a website or something. There's always odd crap that comes up. I did see pictures of brand new replacement stocks, which I haven't seen. Huge barrels full of clips, uh, which I think those are around. But some of the stuff, the guy was posting it on Facebook. He worked in one of the places that was importing it, where they go through and then put the importers marks on it or whatever. And he'd take pictures of the stuff coming in the bins, how they arrived. And there was a lot of stuff in there I never did see any replacement stocks come up for sale. So, who knows? But who knows? So, Tuesday. But yeah, I don't know. And that's another thing. I don't know where Royal Tiger got the Swiss guns from, but like I said, I noticed that I just went through an advertisement I got from Atlantic Firearms, and they had several different models of Swiss rifles, uh, 9811s and some 11s. I think they even had some K31s, which I figured the way they dried up years ago that you wouldn't see any, because there was a point where you didn't see any show up for a while, and prices on them things went from around an average of $300 shot up to 6, 7. K31s were going for an awful lot of money, and now that's kind of come back a little. So all you guys going, oh, when's it going to drop back down? And again, I haven't bought any recently. I have just about a complete collection of them, or at least the common ones, not the real bizarre, odd carbines or nothing like that, but just the basic type examples. I got them all, and accumulating more of them really ain't worthwhile. If I can get them real cheap, because I forget somebody had one magazine was missing in it, and they're a nightmare to get. Okay, and they want a lot of money. Actually, they had some K31 mags. I think I bought one or two, just because if you run across one and nobody wants it without the mag, having a spare mag is okay. The 31s you can get, but the other ones are going to be difficult to find. And if you do find them, they're going to want an awful lot of money for them. So that's why when you find them without a mag, I just irregardless of the price. I pass on them. Oh well. But yeah, other than that, I really haven't seen handguns come in. You know, CZ70s and that are popping up. Uh, CZ83s, 82s are around. I don't think they're actively coming in. I just think nobody's buying them, especially when they're up there close to $500 a piece. A lot of these places are stuck with them. You do see high powers coming in. Atlantic Firearms has some Belgian-made ones, and there are a lot of them showed up between Moe's and Crate and several other online places had them. I have no idea where they came from. Some of them were from back in the 40s too, so a bunch of them come out. But some of them they're going for $1,000 or more, depending on condition and that. And then of course all the Hungarian-made ones, they're still about $400. I've looked at some of those. I've never owned one. I got one of the Turkish ones. It costs about $500, and now Century Arms is importing another one. It's like $100 cheaper than that. I don't know who's making it. If it's the same place that originally made those, because that was a big thing. They made an exact copy, and that was a couple years ago they came out with that. It took me a while to find one, and I got one full size. The only good thing is they make a detective's model with a shorter barrel, which is something, if you wanted something like that, it'd be kind of worth it. But now they're making one that's even selling for less, and they're making a 1911 that Century Arms is bringing in. That's pretty damn reasonable for a 1911. But other than that, really, not much. I do wonder when reloading supplies, if ever, will come down. I kind of don't really know current the current trend isn't. I know guns and like I said, 9mm ammo. Okay, you can get it cheaper than for reloading for it. You know. Okay. I like Tauruses. I have several of them. I've reviewed them. I actually carry the G4. Okay. Tauruses are a good gun. People get picky, little finicky things they don't do. And, like Taurus, I've had some take them out of the box. They work flawlessly. I have some that are problematic. And, there's just a few things you can do to get them running again. But there are some people that get worked up over it, which, yes, CZ82s for $300 at J&G. They're not quite set up. I was looking at getting one. A guy I used to work with got one, and the slide stop spring was screwed up in the gun. He'd fire the gun and it would lock open halfway through the mag. And I think they got issues, but again, their way of I have bought things from them before. And when you go to their FFL locator, I got two that if they're on there, all I do is click it and they call me when the thing arrives. And their FFL locator was a little bit complicated and I kind of passed on it. And the gun the kid got, outwardly, it only had one spot on the slide that was worn, but fixing that spring that was a pain in the ass. That was a gunsmith job. We got it done. Now I know how to do that, but uh, some I've seen some guys that got some guns from there that were in that grade, and I mean, there's like hardly any finish left on the slides and stuff. So that's another hit or miss. Elon Musk is for cash. Hmm. Well, this is the problem. Okay. Uh, Cryptocurrency is going to give them more control over your finances. Okay. They try to tell you that, but a lot of people like the electronic payments. I don't. Okay. Because number one, if I sell anything on eBay or Gunbroker or anywhere, and now if I take PayPal, because that's why they closed my one account, was for doing, they didn't even tell me why. But what it was, they closed the account because that was before they had an agreement where if you go over 600 accumulatively, you get a 1099. Okay. And that's why I kind of don't like it. I don't like taking payments, but a lot of people will not send me a check or money order. A lot of people say if I get a check, it has their bank routing number and account number on there and I can commit fraud. So sending a personal check is dangerous and a money order just costs more than sending it. And it's not convenient and you don't get the buyer protection and all this other shit. And a lot of people, that's the way they want it. Okay. I kind of avoid that, but that's a true thing. And this is where the cryptocurrency comes in. The only bad thing, cash, yeah. The only bad thing about crypto is a fraud, all right, yeah, is they will control your money. And if they're going to tax you for every friggin' thing, they're talking about, some of these tax things they're talking about, you're pretty much screwed. Well, the problem with the nuclear doctrine is when you use nuclear weapons, okay, there's a reason they didn't have another war like in Europe where they flattened cities. Uh, Nuclear doctrine, okay, and this is an old thing that goes back to the Cold War, even back into the early 1960s, is everyone realizes you start shooting or deploying nuclear weapons, okay, the radiation is there for 2,000 years. So, you're screwed. What good is nuking the piss out of everything? And also, people don't realize fallout. Even if you live through the blast, that shit goes up in the air and gets blown for hundreds of miles and kills everybody 100 miles away. Okay. And it's unpredictable. I doubt very much you'll ever see the use of nuclear weapons. Okay. I think that's controlled and regulated. And even when these terrorist groups supposedly abscond with them, like you see in the movies, I think that stuff's tightly controlled because every asshole on the planet that runs shit knows that no good is going to come from a nuclear war or using these devices. Okay, even though they got them, I doubt very much they'll use them. And if they do, world comes to an end anyway, so your problems won't last that long. Well, polymer frames on an AR, it's a good idea. I had one that I kind of put together, but the truth of the matter is It's like the guys say, if you take the thing and just take it to the range and shoot it, something for a super lightweight gun, I could build a super lightweight AR. And one guy, he honestly said that he took one out and he got about 3,000 rounds through it, just shooting it and screwing around until either the receiver or the upper cracked and ceased to function. Um, you know, if you want to pull out an AR, show it to people, fire it once or twice, yeah, polymer guns are okay, but they're not gonna, they're not gonna hold up. Is the problem there? And Israel Texas stuffing on the ground for us. Yeah, I said that they're not going to stop. Neither side is going to resolve this. So whatever, it's best we don't get involved. Is one way of looking at it. All right. The only people who benefit from crypto are the super rich. Well, I watched an interesting video uh, or a podcast. It was a podcast. And they had this guy in there that was discussing these things. And he said that politics and the politicians, he goes, it's all acting. He goes, the people that control and run things have them up there. And that's what it is. You have to look at it as theatrics. Okay. Nobody's going to come and do what they say they do. That's why you can never pin the politicians down, because they're really not the ones going to be making the damn decisions. Okay. Yes, crypto is not uh, a good thing, but you're getting forced. It's like today, I have to go. I like paying my bills with checks. I always do. I like to. But certain companies like Spectrum don't. And they deliberately mail the friggin' bill and it's going halfway across the country. And then next thing you know, they're sending you a notice, hey, you got 5 hours left to pay this. And for some odd reason, once you pay them online, the next day the check clears. And you paid them double. And they say, we'll just put that payment down the next month. And they do that deliberately to fuck with you. The only one honest enough is the car insurance. They said, if you want to mail us a check, just add $3 to the total and we'll take your check with no problem. Okay. Because I still do not like automatic payments or paying online and all this other crap. Some things I like to keep track of. But see, then they force you. What are you going to do? Good morning. Yeah, because we're a global superpower and our money is used throughout the world. So, yes, we always do get involved. You can't be a superpower and go back to the old isolation policies of the good old days where nobody cares. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Okay, is going out and vote. But like I said, everything I'm seeing on the news, they're changing all the way of counting, when they're counting, when they can start counting and everything. And it's going to be uh, a problem. Oh, Samsung Galaxy. You kind of really brought that up. Nobody does. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I say I really don't trust the Israelis. It's because of that fact of the matter there. Okay. And a lot of people don't like bringing that up. And I remember watching the accounts from the guys on that ship. Uh, you know, I'll leave that alone. I don't want to get started on that. Bidenomics, why would I want to stop it? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I said, it's our foreign policy. That's why you have to have, but see, it's too much money involved. That's why it becomes our problems. America's supposed. Yeah, I forget. I was told by somebody that at the height of the Cold War, when they looked at the nuclear stockpiles of the United States, Russia, and everyone, when you tallied them all up, there were enough nuclear weapons at one time out there to totally destroy this planet and 43 others the same size. So they had enough weapons to totally wipe out the Earth and 43 other planets just like it. Because I believe once they made the hydrogen bomb, the scientists, that's why they stopped above ground testing. Uh, the Russian scientists and the Americans said if you detonate 100 of these, okay, in rapid succession, like in an attack, okay, then all life on the planet will be done in a matter of months. The amount of radiation and fallout released will kill everything. Okay, so 100. So right there, America, divide that by 100, it tells you how many planets they can kill if they're the big ones. Supports. Yeah, second debate. Any of these debates are such a waste of time. I really don't know the point of it other than just something to just carry on about because again, it's all part of theatrics. I guess something to do when um just the opinion to add more confusion. I think it's pointless because it's going to be the same damn thing. Nobody's going to answer a direct question. And it's just going to be everyone, oh, well, she got him again. Trump's afraid. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that feel that way. Having a Muslim mayor. Don't know. Don't have a Muslim mayor. DJG. Well, who knows? That's the whole idea of having elections. Uh, I guess we'll see. As it gets, each day that passes, more and more fun stuff comes to light. How about, what the hell is that girl's name? Yeah, on Facebook. Hawktaw girl. Yeah, I heard she was 10 weeks. 10 weeks of fame, so Andy Warhol's 15-minute must have to be adjusted for internet inflation. But so this is a big thing. It's curious to me. Some girl from some little crossroads town out in Tennessee makes a statement, goes viral. Um, got on stage with some musician that got more attention, and then decides to. I think her story, she's got a lawyer and a manager and everything, and then I guess selling T-shirts. Uh, she made enough money to take $500,000 and start up thing for animals, Paws Across America. Going to have a reality TV show, and I guess today is going to be her first podcast, which to me is pretty amazing. And really, all this happens and all the money they're talking about uh, for what? There's nothing. It's nothing, you know. So what? Yeah, that's what I mean. There's nothing there, but this is getting news. Trend is his friend. All right, undecided voters. But yeah, who knows? Maybe she should run for office. You know, gonna have a podcast with some animals, and I think there was something where she was gonna go on one of these. I used to remember it when it was called the World Poker Tour. I guess the only time I see it is on Vice or something TV. They'll have high stakes poker, and that's where they play Texas Hold'em in Vegas again. Of course, I'm old. All them people that were famous when that was on TV back in the '90s, I guess they're all died of old age. So they got a whole new group of people, and it's pretty amazing. We used to watch that poker thing. Of course, they had them two guys that were doing comments, but kind of ain't the same anymore to watch them play cards. But yeah, she's supposed to go on to one of these poker tournaments, and all the money she makes, she's going to give to animals. You know, but again, we're talking 500,000 buy-in or something. Uh, Crazy. I have no idea. That is kind of like fiction. That's one way of looking at it. Uh, then again, separation of church and state. You should not let religious things influence the government, and that's where we get a lot of problems, okay, in a lot of these places. All right. Where, you should have separation of church and state. Okay, irregardless. Religion shouldn't play a part in running your government. Then who was it founded by if they weren't Christians? It was the Spanish when they showed up here. Everything was done at the will of God. Protestants, I believe, are Christians, and that's most of the English were. The Dutch, I know, are Catholic because they excommunicated, I think, what the hell is his name? The one Dutch painter got run out of town because something he did to the church. Yeah. So, let's see. That's right. They weren't very religious. But they were run by Masons, and the Masons do have religion as part of their uh, thing. They were kind of, what do they call them? Free thinkers or something like that. Yeah, one of the reasons why they like coming here is to get away from the control of the politics and church. Go here. State and federal government, that's one way of looking at it. It's like putting a bullseye on your foot. All right, so if they were enlightened, let's see the social problems we have. The homeless, this mass immigration or illegal immigration. That this is going on globally. Okay, uh, this isn't just the United States. Okay, a lot of these things, the economic warfare that's going on, that's a global issue. Uh, Really, I don't see any way kind of out of this. Uh, but the one, in my opinion, if we keep the party that is in, things will get much worse. If you put Trump in, there may be some sort of compromise, modification, whatever. But like, if you follow any of the silver stacking channels and any of the financial things I kind of watch on YouTube, uh, the economic situation and the way the global banking and economy, be it digital currency and that, there's no way to stop that. That's what's coming, whether you like it or not. The only thing is, for someone in my position, is that uh, they slow down this to the point where I can kind of live towards the end of my life, my time here on this planet, without it being too much of a problem. But say 20 years from now, you'll look back on this and see that you were kind of arguing against something you're not going to stop. Yeah, voting's not going to remove the problem. Uh, the problem is the systems of government, the way they handle money and that nowadays. Um, like everyone says, well, they print all this money, it's worthless. Well, yeah, it's like I showed you. Like the guy goes, well, I got a silver certificate. Go to the bank and try to get silver, dollars worth of silver. And the problem is a dollar's worth of silver would be like point something of a gram. Or actually, no, I think when it was up there, it'd be a gram. You get a gram of silver. Um, that ain't going to happen. Okay. Uh, and the countries that do back their, I think Zimbabwe did it, back the money with gold or whatever. It all comes down. Somebody made a statement, and I heard this. The economy and how a country runs with inflation and how the money is and that's managed by the government. If the government manages the economy well and runs the country correctly, these things are not a problem. It's when they don't that you get countries printing $100 trillion banknotes. Okay. That's what it all boils down to, plain and simple. And I think it should be more government accountability than anything else. That's what this country should push. Some would call them Nazis. I think pagans infiltrated my government in World War II, and this is the outcome. Camilla doesn't fit in the picture right, though. Yeah, because Nazis, that was all genealogy, and you had to trace your family back. And see, this is what they're doing with this immigration, this forced immigration. They're breaking that thought because the biggest thing in Europe is all of these countries, they don't want to lose their identity. Italians, French, Spanish, Germans, Poles, the British, okay, don't like doing it. In the United States, it's kind of hard to say that because my family members have come from 7 different countries and nationalities throughout Europe. As most of the people where I come from up in the Northeast, because I think from 1905 to 1920 was the largest immigration of people into this country. And basically, a lot of my great grandparents, almost all of them, except the Irish, because they were run out of Europe before they kept records in the 1880s, 1840s. Um, so I can't trace them back by using Ellis Island records because Ellis wasn't until 94 or 96, 18 that they started keeping track of people immigrating. In the old days, once the boat got to land and you were off, that was it, man. You were here. You were in. Okay. that that was that. Okay, but yeah, that's what they're trying to destroy this. They're trying to mix in the different religions and uh so that ain't gonna, and they were pagans. They had some pretty wild ideas, time travel, all that other fun stuff. Tradition is what you call solution to a problem. After you've forgotten what the problem is, take away the solution, and the problem comes back. Yeah, then you ask any of them that, they'll kind of explain that to you and show you all the negotiations with the U.S. that didn't quite work out. That's one way of looking at it. Of course, some of us don't believe that the Constitution works anymore. Yeah, the digital currency, I kind of don't like that because, well, even without it, basically we're working with digital currency now. Okay, yeah, I have cash in my wallet and I also have a debit card. Most of the things when I make purchases, gasoline, food, whatever, I use a debit card. Okay, because I don't like carrying $300 in cash on me just to go through the day. You know, you stop at the store, $50 for gas, buy a 12 pack of beer, some other stuff at the store. There's another $40 there. Go to the grocery store. You're looking at $80 to pick up some odds and ends that my wife told me to get. You know, so yeah, you're basically using digital currency now. I mean, I don't know how many years it's been. I've never been issued an actual physical paycheck. And they actually got the company, they used to mail us a stub, but it got to where when I went back to work, all of that is online. Okay, so on that day, I get paid, the money's in my account, I don't see a check. And if I want to go figure out what the balance is, like you used to get your pay stub, tell you year to date, how much vacation you accumulated, I'd have to log in and go uh, to the company where, the website, whatever, and all of that's there. I can print it out or look at it, but paperless, that's digital. Okay. The problem is when you resist, Okay, much like what happened in Canada. When you resist the government peacefully and stand your ground and stand up to them, they just lock you out of your bank account. They freeze it. So unless you got enough cash to live the rest of your life stored in your house, you're screwed. And then again, a lot of places won't take cash. Okay. All right. Because I remember this girl was complaining that she went to make a car payment, and she went in the bank with the stub and handed them cash. And they said, we can't take that. She goes, the only way we can take that is you fill out a deposit slip, deposit it into a checking or savings account. And then the girl at the counter said, I'll make a payment to your account with our bank here. Can't take cash. And actually, cash is not practical now. Uh, During the plague, you couldn't pay them cash to get an oil change. You had to use a credit or debit card. Okay, now I think some places have passed a law where you must take cash if that's what the person is paying. Not huge amounts, but you go in there, change the oil, they say you owe me $90. If they pay you in cash, you should be able to take it. Maritime law. Okay. Yeah, I mean they're already working to it. It's already been going that way. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, they're already working their way to it. You're kind of halfway there. Like I said, I do have cash in my pocket and I can go out if somebody wants to sell me something. If I want to go draw out $200-300 out of an ATM, I can pay the person in cash. That's what they want. That's true. Yes, those are the people you did your history. They're the ones that run things. They always have. Okay. Back to the turn of the century, around 1905, 1910, this all started. Accounting service industries. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. That could happen. Ah. Yeah. The reason you'll see that is because having the system in there costs you money. And if you're not doing a ton of business, taking the cards or debit cards and having a system set up is an expense. Because I knew the one guy that was running his FFL out of his house. He told me that he did that because when you go to a gun show, a lot of people, if they're buying something, you're selling a gun $700-800. Very few people carry that around. So he did set up, with his business, the credit cards. But the amount of business that he did, it it was more of a burden to have that than not. Okay, because that's why when you go to, like you said, small towns and that, they won't have that. But most people take a check, you know. But then again, there's a lot of people that don't have checking accounts, you know. So I don't know. So I wonder when these jackasses are going to show up to the house. Might be any minute now. Hopefully, I can get a hold of them. I got to be here when they show up. But yeah, who knows what the future will bring? Okay. Uh, who knows? But most places that do uh, have digital currencies or have started it, I know the Russians did, and several other countries have. Um, it kind of didn't make a difference one way or the other. And like a lot of people said, a lot of these guys are saying they should back the currency with silver or gold like they used to, which that's not going to happen because of volatility. That'll never happen again. And a lot of people also brought up, well, hey, they're going to confiscate the gold, confiscate. And I said that's not the same thing that happened all those years ago. We don't use it as currency. And it's one guy over there making these 10th ounce silver rounds and, say use them for barter. When silver's $29 an ounce, if you buy it in 10th ounce coins, it comes out to $52 an ounce. So, how are you making out? By having the small things and using them to trade. And then, you know, he's saying, another influencer, well, when silver's really going to take off is when they use it for money again. And I don't really believe that any country in the world, unless I'm wrong or not going somewhere, uses silver for their actual currency coinage. Okay. Uh, don't know. Thanks for the video. Truly appreciate the feedback. Okay. Shillings. Yeah, who's the, well, I know a lot of the British colony did stuff in shillings. Picked up a K kale. Well, here, mill surplus private sales. I know in the area one, maybe two collectors that live like within a 15-minute drive from me that I've made friends with over the years. And that would be the only people at private sales. They're really not going to pay me exorbitant prices, but usually when I had something that I can offer the guy at a reasonable price, he usually picks it up if he's interested. It might be something he already has. Um, but trying to sell it like at a flea market, you're not going to get. The only thing at the flea market is 90% of the people are looking around hoping that you don't know what it is. They can buy it for nothing and resell it themselves somewhere. And as for gun shops, I went to one that had a bunch of these old mill surplus guns on uh, there, holding them for people to sell on commission. That's what I'm trying to say. They had them on commission. The prices were insane. That company was sold, went out of business, and when the guy redid it, he redid the shop real nice. I think he has a gunsmith in the back, which is something we you don't have. So that's part of the thing. His gun store when he remodeled it was the gunsmith on duty, and he just had commercial and used stuff, but hardly any mill surplus. Okay, so yeah, and pawn shops, the couple pawn shops that are around are extremely difficult to do business with. Matter of fact, the one guy that does my transfers, he has maybe 10 used guns in the shop at any time. He doesn't really fool with it. Um, I really haven't found a place, or the few places that are around, if they do have anything, the price on it's so astronomical. I don't even look at the stuff. Yeah, I know that. None of them will. I doubt that very much. It's too volatile. Too many coin clippers. And that's right. I remember seeing these old coins. They get chiselers. Oh, okay. Uh, those used to go for less than two. I forget I bought one. I got a bayonet, an extra bolt. Yeah, it's not bad for a mill surplus gun. What you got there? They're pretty common. I've had some that were bad, real bad condition. Yeah, but what condition was it in? You know, some of them things were junk. Yeah, but see, I never had no luck in some of these pawn shops. I went to one that recently opened, and he had a Smith and Wesson pistol in 32 long. I forget the model. It was one of the little ones. It was in pretty nice shape. I think he wanted $700 for the damn thing or something. Oh, Chinese gold. Very good condition. Wooden nickels. Yep. Oh. Now, for some strange reason, buying and selling mill surplus, uh, especially in the rural areas. Uh, so I remember I was in a pawn shop. I had a buddy that used to hang out in all of them up in Greensboro. He'd go up and down the strip on the main street there. There'd be 8 or 10 of them, and he cruised through all of them. And there was somebody that owned 2 or 3 of them, and another person told me about it too. That they went in there and the gun was in real terrible condition. And the guy goes, I'll buy this from you, but he goes, not at this price. He goes, you got rust on it and everything else. He goes, I could probably fix it up and work on it, but and they say no, this is what it is. Okay. And that's it. And really overpriced. Arizona people. But yeah, it's not good. See, and mostly here the yahoos, if it's an AR-15, if it's an AR-15 shotgun, SKS or something like that. They go nuts over because I remember in 2008, I went into this one pawn shop. It's in an opposite direction. He's another one. His prices were ridiculous. But I went in there and was during one of the financial problems. And he has his used long guns in racks on the floor. Okay, the new stuff or expensive stuff's behind the counter. Same with handguns, but he'll have shotguns and low end stuff come in. I went in there and he had to have 10 or 12 SKS rifles, and all of them had 30 round magazine modifications and shit. He had 10 of them in there. It was like the local militia weapon, I guess, and they all hit hard times. And it was crazy. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Uh, I don't think you'll find any mill surplus stolen cosmoline in large quantities anywhere anymore. Yeah, because geographically, in the old days, before the internet, it was difficult to buy or sell any of that in quantity. You'd have to travel. Like I'd have to travel to a larger gun shop in a different city, and I found someplace, usually a larger city, where the person would have a selection of that. It wouldn't be local uh, in a smaller town or place that you live. Set your alarm. Oh well. Yeah, you can do that. Uh, I found my best lucks at auctions because small auction you'll go to. There's a you know 10 guns or something, and there'll be something there. Nobody knows what the hell it is. Be it an older gun or some European automatic pistol or something from the 20s, 30s, and they don't like it. But I've also seen uh, them friggin' high points go for more than what the hell they cost brand new in the store. You start bidding on them and going nuts over the high points. All right, Peter, take it easy. But yeah, you never know. Sometimes you luck out, and I have over the years just wandering through something, a shop or some stuff, and I usually get a good buy. But my days of traveling from pawn shop to pawn shop and that and all this other stuff uh, are gone. Yeah, those really, that's what I say. They're not really SKSs with the pinned barrels. There's something Norinco was making up that are, if you take that and an actual SKS and put them side by side, you can see that it's not quite the same thing. Okay. And it looks like an SKS, but it's not in a way. It's kind of like a cheap knockoff. But they did. I've seen some. A guy told me he paid $80 or $90 for that was one of the later ones they brought in before they cut off the importation from China that were legit. Uh, so it's hard to say what the hell is there. Well, they had Roses sold guns. I forget. Depends which state you live in. Um, Russian ones, I don't quite remember them, and they were usually pretty beat up when they came in. There weren't a lot of them that came in. The Chinese one I bought is brand new with everything, was $180, the chest rig and all that other stuff. But that does have the actual markings and that for the year and the military uh, factory. He had a bunch of used ones, and there's some bizarre crap in there that were in a pile. I didn't, I was young and stupid. I should have just went and bought all them used ones because there was one guy was telling me that's a rare variation. I said, nah, I just want a new one. I want a brand new one because they were super hard to find. And, some people may have brought them back. The only ones you seen were the ones guys brought back from Nam. Okay, and I had one that had a bullet hole in the stock and the finish, the bore, the chamber was all rusted. You know, that was the only one I had, and I think I paid $120 for it or something. I don't know. They were rare at one time. Put it to you that way. Well, they all were, because they brought them in by the boatload. Could be. Can't remember back then. They got all kinds of weird little secret deals. That's right. That's why I said when I seen the pawn shop full, the militia must have. Truthfully, because you could get an SKS so cheap, and you used to be able to get the ammo on the stripper clips. They're not a terrible weapon. They don't cost that much. Basically, a poor man's AK-47. I mean, they're a usable gun. They're an inexpensive gun, semi-automatic gun, 300-yard effective range for the average person. Yeah, that would be the thing to arm yourself. Pretty compact, lightweight. You had the cleaning kit and the sling and everything all in one package deal. It was pretty good. Yeah, that depends. Unless they're professional garage sale people. Yeah, I know. I forget. My great grandfather had one. I don't know. It broke. I have no idea whatever happened to it. All I know, the assholes threw it in the trash. I wish I had that thing and go get it fixed, but oh well. Well, guys, it's getting there to an hour and a half. I'm starting to get tired. My back hurts, and I'm waiting for these yahoos to come over to the house and do some work today. So I guess we'll call it a day, and I will see everybody again tomorrow around 9 o'clock, and we'll see what other interesting things we can talk about and get more into our political discussions as every day gets more exciting. And thank you all for showing up. All right, guys, have a good day.